What's up, beautiful people? It's your boy Judeo, and I'm back again with a new video. Today we're going to be checking out a video by Jordan B. Peterson. This one is titled "Most People Don't Have ADHD." Surprising to hear. But anyways, I'm curious to see this one, so without wasting your time, let's get to it.
Thoughts on ADHD. I'm 16, I'm in high school, and it seems that more and more students are being put on meds to fix their lack of discipline.
Who wrote that question? Did you hear it? Most students are being put on meds to fix their lack of discipline. That's how they define ADHD.
What are your thoughts on ADHD? I'm 16, I'm in high school, and it seems that more and more students are being put on meds to fix their lack of discipline.
Yeah, I think it's just like psychiatric, except in extraordinarily rare cases. There are people who are neurologically damaged, who have
need for the meds,
physiological reasons for difficulty in
coordination,
maintaining optimized attentional focus. You see that in people, for example, who have fetal alcohol syndrome. Most of the time, as far as I'm concerned, it's a rubbish diagnosis. Panksepp, the same neuroscientist that I talked to you about, who investigated play behavior in rats, also noted, this is quite fun, that if you deprive juvenile male rats of the opportunity to play boisterously, they become hyperactive. And also, if you deprive them of the opportunity to play optimally, their prefrontal cortices do not mature well. And the prefrontal cortex matures late, and it constitutes, in some sense, the pinnacle of neurological development, and it needs to develop in the course of intense play. And then he noticed that if you administered hyperactive, play-deprived rats amphetamine, Ritalin, that it would inhibit their frenetic playing. And that's pretty much what's happening in schools. So
the kids are not playing enough, that's what he's saying?
The schools are not well adapted to boys. I don't think they're particularly well adapted to girls either, by the way, but they're particularly not well adapted to boys. Boys aren't designed to sit still and be bored out of their skulls for 7 hours a day.
Thank you. Please let them know. They said when I was in school, when you graduate, you're going to feel the need of what we're doing for you. And I graduated, I don't still see the need for it.
I think first and foremost, we have to concede that we're dealing with
And there are boys with particular temperaments who are even less inclined to be able to do that.
To comply with that system.
Example, if you're extroverted, highly social, possessed by a fair bit of enthusiasm and positive emotion, then you're going to appear more hyperactive. If you're creative, then your attention is going to be fragmented in some sense by the multiplicity of your interests. So if you're creative and extroverted, then you have both of those working against you.
Against the system, the school system. And I think that was me. So when I was in school, I was a very good science student. I was like one of the best math students in the whole school. I'm not even trying to like brag, but I'm low-key bragging, guys. But when I was asked to choose courses, because in my school, when you're in like your senior year, like SS2, that's how we call it, or SS1, you're allowed to choose courses between arts, science, and we have a C section, which is like fine arts and just a few other courses like language and all of those things. So instead of choosing, a lot of people were expecting me to choose further maths, which is from the C section, but I chose fine art. But I chose the courses that involve me getting more hands-on, and the teachers and the lecturers tried to convince me otherwise. They tried to tell my parents that I'm not choosing maths, that I'm not choosing anything that correlates with science, that I'm supposed to be one of the best science students, and I'm not choosing the more educative subjects. But the reason was these educative subjects were too boring. Biology, chemistry, physics, just details and details and details and details that I don't want to keep hearing. and they asked me to take further maths also, which I didn't do. I chose fine arts because the fine arts teacher was fun, and we kept doing fun stuff in fine arts, so I was happy.
In terms of your quiescent adaptation to the school environment, if you're disagreeable, which is also more likely if you're male,
That was
then
me,
you're
very disagreeable, very
quite
stubborn.
likely to push back against what you see as stupid, arbitrary rules. And so we know perfectly well, for example, that attention deficit disorder overlaps with childhood conduct disorder and antisocial behavior. And I'm not saying that all children diagnosed with hyperactivity are conduct disordered. I'm saying that more aggressive boys tend to manifest symptoms that sometimes tilt them towards juvenile criminality and sometimes tilt them towards attention deficit disorder and hyperactivity. But it's partly their somewhat rebellious temperament. And so if you're disagreeable and extroverted and creative, then why wouldn't you be hyperactive?
Because you need to be able to express that.
So, and then you might say, so when amphetamines were first used to treat hyperactivity,
Met?
the hypothesis
I
was
didn't know that.
the following. Kids who are hyperactive or attention deficit disordered are of a different neurological type. Now, as I said, in rare
Cases.
circumstances, that's true. But absent evidence for neurological dysfunction, I would hesitate to make that presumption. The run-of-the-mill hyperactive boy, if you put him on amphetamines, Ritalin, his attentional focus improves. Now, the original hypothesis was that's because these abnormally neurologically structured hyperactive boys have a paradoxical reaction to amphetamine administration. It calms them down, whereas with normal people, they become more stimulated, okay? There's a word for that theory, and the word is wrong. Okay, so
I was expecting a real word for anyway. That's a real word. Wrong.
intelligent and differentiated analysis has indicated that if you give any child amphetamines, the grip of what they're attending to is stronger. So all children are calmed down by stimulants perversely because the psychomotor stimulant, which is a dopamine agonist, which activates the focal exploratory system, does increase the capacity for focal attention. But it does that with all children. And so a positive reaction to amphetamine in relationship to attentional focus is no indication whatsoever, even in the most minute manner, that the diagnosis was correct. And so, I don't buy it, except in these rare cases, is that we use amphetamines to conveniently modify the behavior of bored boys because we're too stupid to construct our education systems in a manner that doesn't drive them mad.
Crazy. Yeah. You know, this thing actually makes the kids feel like they're going mad. I was very smart, but at some point in school, I just thought, I don't want to be here. Like, I was rebellious. I remember writing a technical drawing exam. One of that course I was also very good at, technical drawing. I just submitted like 2 questions in. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just submitted. I told the examiner that I was going to use the washroom. And it's like, oh, you can go and come back. I'm like, no, I'm done. Because I was just tired of school.
Look, you know, normal university students take Ritalin like mad in university because they learn that they can sustain attention, whether that's productive or not in the long run is a whole different issue, but they can sustain attention with less effort if they use amphetamines. Now, that's a degenerating game, fundamentally, like most drug use. And I suppose if it's very carefully regulated and the doses are low, then the negative consequences are less dramatic. But I think the whole thing's just, it's a psychosocial fraud.
Kids in the spectrum, I believe, not ADHD necessarily.
Name for a disease that's created by doctors. can't remember it.
Created by doctors.
What's the word? Iatrogenic? Iatrogenic? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, hyperactivity is an iatrogenic disease created by schools. Yeah, that's the case. So boys should play more, way more. Way more.
Boys should play
they should
more.
Play to the point of exhaustion in some sense every day. Really. They'll quit when they've had enough.
Wear them off. Wear them off. Yeah. But also this, let me tell you guys something. ADHD, I've not done this research, guys. I promise that. But I'm going to make a little bit of sense. I might make a little bit of sense. I haven't done this research. I'm not saying you should take my word for it. But I believe ADHD is more common in North America, or at least in Canada where I live. It's more common here than it is in Africa, in Nigeria. And I think the reason is because African children really play. Like, we gather in the streets and we play from morning to night. Like, we really play. We exhaust ourselves. So I think that's why ADHD is not disturbing us over there. I'm just saying, somebody can do the research and write the paper and take the sample size. I haven't done it, but maybe that's the reason.
One more question.
A lot of breathing going on.
I bet your hyperactive son has no trouble paying attention when he's playing video games. Well, that's worth thinking about, isn't it?
He had to finish his food, like finishing. But that was a very good point, though. That was a very good point.
Are you living in...
All these kids that are highly distracted and have difficulties focusing, if you notice, they're the ones creating the best applications. They're the ones doing the biggest things or the best things in the world. How did they focus to make those applications, all those interesting things? How did they focus to do it? It's because their attention in the right order can do good. But nobody's telling you that. See, I just dropped gems on you guys. Call me Professor Jude. In fact, from today I'm a professor. Call me Professor. Anywhere you see me, just shout Professor, Prof. Yeah, see, I'm dropping gems. Anyway, that was another very good video by Professor Jordan B. Peterson. If you want us to check out some more, that was an interesting topic. If I said something wrong, please feel free to correct me. And also, if you want to add to what I've said or what Jordan Peterson has said, feel free to, give us some of your thoughts in the comment section. It's the end of this video. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you on the next video. Have a wonderful day. Peace.